the horizon, which he's got his sights on as well. It does seem like there's a little bit less pressure on this guy in the bottom right here at Blackburn. And will it be enough for him to just play StarCraft and get the W in the end? Represented by Legacy ANZ. This is the man, Probe.
And in the bottom left, representing Dominaticus Esports, this is our Terran player, Raza.
Dominaticus Esports, is that the winner of most syllables in a team name? Actually, no. Team Reciprocity. Remember that? Remember that team? Innovation was on it at one point.
No, I don't remember. You've got a better esports memory than me. I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't had longer names, to be honest, because we've had like Dragon Phoenix Gaming and stuff, which isn't exactly short. There's like multiple words.
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Not too many syllables though, and the syllables really do matter. As an Australian, you know, we're always, as I mentioned before, if we've got a guy whose name is Darren, we call him Daz. But then we sometimes add syllables. Like if someone's name's Steve, we call them Steve-O. We're weird. Don't worry about Australia. Let's talk about StarCraft.
Alrighty. Well, calm early game here, Maynard, but it sounds like, I don't know, Blackburn sometimes delivers some faster, more interesting games just because the architecture is a little different to what we're used to. So I'm wondering what we're going to see here, because typically like Probe is a very like slow, steady defensive player. So I always expect him to go like those 3 base blink kind of builds, but Blackburn's not necessarily the one you want to do that on.
It can be a bit of a notorious tank push map, or even just a push map from general from Terran, as they it's seemingly not that long of a rush distance on the south side. There is a slow zone in the middle which slows you down, but as you would expect the slow zone to do. But it's still a pretty nasty little attack path for Terran on the south side, which is generally why people don't like playing Terran if you're a Protoss or a Zerg on this map. Little bit of an engineering bay block. Just talk about the start of the game there. Obviously, the engineering bay block went down, slowed down the Nexus for Probe, forced him to make a Zealot. So not free for Raza to do, but also slows the Protoss down. So a little bit of give, a little bit of get. And the Twilight Council is going down. Does look like, after that start, Probe transitioning into a pretty regular blink opener.
Yeah, he sure is. I mean, good defensively, gives you a bit of mobility, but also you get your observers out. You can get an Immortal in the mix there as well, just to help with the defense. Should you be in that position where the Terran is going a little bit ham on the 2 basey, and they're coming at you with a whole bunch of stuff.
Indeed. And we got the Twilight Council finishing up here for Probe. He's actually making a couple of depths and getting a Robo up back at home as well. He's going to go, I was going to say a pretty... That's the Invisible Man clubhouse here, Zeph. Which means Invisible Men are on the cards here for Probe. And this is something, you know, Probe is normally Mr. Standard, Mr. Normal, Mr. Macro. I love this. I think this is a really great call. This is going to play against to his image, play against expectations. Grabbing the gold for his 3rd Nexus as well.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, baby.
Interesting. All right, this is kind of a cool way to play this. And actually, nerds in the chat, if you want to learn how to do this build, Probe actually has a guide on his YouTube for it. So, yeah, it's, I mean, you get a nice bit of harassment against the Terran, hopefully, and get a bit of an advantage coming into the mid game here. But you know, if you are about to get like 3 racks or something, this build still lends itself nicely to being able to defend against that sort of stuff. So I think this is actually a really nice choice. Lets you survive on a map where tank pushes are a thing. So we'll have to wait and see how much damage he can actually do with this.
Well, the downside here for Raza is that he's getting an engineering bay up right now for +1 attack. I doubt he's thinking about turrets. He's looking at going for 3 racks here. So Probe could just hit, and depending on whether there's been a fresh mule or not for Raza, it may just kill the Terran. So we'll keep an eye on that here as the push moves out. And the downside for Probe is that there is a giant ball of bio on the way to him, and he might have to use those Invisible Men defensively as well as offensively. In fact, the first Invisible Man warped in at home here. Another one walking up to the north side.
He's already gotten a model out, coming, so that's going to be very, very useful for this defense. And seeing like absolutely nothing here and having that obs as well, he should know what he's up against. And in comes the Terran army, stimming to win. There's only 3 units here. The DT nowhere to be found. It gets absolutely evaporated by this army. Now, does he have enough here to actually protect that immortal and stay alive?
Well, with 2 orbitals here, Raza has to decide, does he scan at home? Does he scan offensively? As the DTs will eventually start to hack and slash through those units. Goes to the offensive scan. Another DT in the radius pulls back there. So Probe's just trying to mitigate time here. Meanwhile, his DT on the other side of the map did kill 12 SCVs, but he's not out of the woods. That's still so much bio. He's going to lose so many probes and they can't come home anymore. The bio's cut them off.
Gosh, he doesn't even have mining and gas to be able to warp in any more DTs either. So I think this is actually... Is it? I mean, this is like the worst scenario ever. He's lost 26 workers and the rest are on the run. He's straight up not really mining.
No, he's not mining at all. But the weird thing is that, you know, Raza doesn't have that many workers either. Probe needs to get these workers back to work. The main problem here is that Probe doesn't have an army, and Raza's rallying more across the map right now, and he's got his turrets up, so once again he can mule a little bit safer and not have to worry too much. But Probe, he can't afford anything right now. He can't make a single unit. He can make a sentry at the moment. He can make a DT in a minute. He's got this DT in the middle of the map, which will get some swipes off, but the scans are available on the front line again for Raza. He's got those turrets at home. He's not too worried about scanning at home, so he gets that DT. Oh, it's just not enough here from Probe to hold on.
Just not quite. Hey, it's just like the timing wasn't quite there. Imagine an extra 30 seconds. I think he might have been okay, but GG, Raza absolutely punching through the Protoss base there.
Yeah, this is one of those, you don't want to call it a build order win, but at the same time, it's a strong build order if the scans work out in your favor. If you're not muling too hard, you know, if Raza was dropping mules there and maybe trying to, you know, go up to a third base behind the 3 racks and look a little bit more at the economic side of things after that timing attack, didn't think about DTs, and the Cloak Man just shows up and he's got 1 on each mineral line and then, you know, loses all of his SCVs, and then we get to a weird base tradey game and maybe the game continues, because he still would do a ton of damage with that bio ball. But the fact of the matter is he had the scans to kill the DTs in the front line, and he managed to hold at home, buying time to get those turrets up, not requiring too many scans defensively. And yeah, it really is as simple as that sometimes. If the scans work out in your favor as a Terran, you got the units, you just take it down.
Yeah, a bit rough. I think it's always a little bit surprising as well when you see a Protoss hanging on trying to defend like that, how many scans might actually be available, because he probably dropped 3 there where I was like, surely he's run out now, but by that point Probe had also already run out of money to keep warping in DTs. So a rough position, and like it's not that it was impossible for him to win there, but like you said, you know, things aligned there for Raza. He played it well, zapped those DTs real good, and that was the end of that, because that was really all that Probe had going for him at that point. And with the amount of damage that he did too, I do wonder if Probe had have stabilized where they'd end up in the mid game, if Probe would actually kind of recover there, because his army, I don't know, I just feel like maybe it wouldn't even be that good, because your upgrades would typically be late as well.
It'd be super weird. You don't have charge, don't have, like, if you had charge and Archons or something like that, you can survive long enough to have those up. That's an army, but yeah, that's like a big if. Well, we're gonna take a short break, guys. When we get into when we come back from after the break, we're gonna have game 2 coming up between Probe and Raza. Hopefully it's a little bit longer and a little bit more competitive. We'll see you then. Don't go away. Yeah, good day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the DreamHack Oceania and also rest of Asia main event here. I am Maynard, and with me is Zeph, and we are in the midst of our first series between Probe and Raza. First game was not great. It just kind of ended. It was a DT attack into a 3 racks timing, with Raza having the scans to put the pain down on Probe's plan. Now, game 2, we're hoping, is going to be a little bit more action-packed. Game 1 just kind of, again, ended on Becca there.
Yeah, a little bit of
Blackburn,
a
I should say.
bippity bop.
Bibbidi bop.
Yeah, Probe didn't look good in that one. I don't know. There's not much to say about that one, unfortunately. Things just went pear-shaped real quick, and he couldn't recover. It's not that he didn't have the tools. It's just, sometimes StarCraft do be like that.
Look, when you have like that kind of build order versus build order game, and you go for like a bit of a very committed strategy where it really does need to not be scouted and it really does need to do damage, it never looks good when it fails.
Yeah.
It's hard to look good losing a StarCraft game. So, as Probe didn't look good in that game, he could look amazing in game 2. He is still an incredibly good player, and I know that he's got the skills, and he has been using those skills to pay said bills for a very long time. Let's see how he does in game number 2. In the bottom left here, represented by Legacy ANZ. This is the Probe.
And up here in the top right in the red trunks, this is our Terran player 1-0 up. It is Raza.
Now, for all of you fans out there in Chatland who get frisky for risky, you'll be happy to know that he got a 2-1 victory over Teeble, someone that got very deep last season in fall. Risky returning for the winter season. He didn't make it the groups last season, but he has definitely done it in style this time, finding himself awaiting the winner of this match to see who gets out of Group B first.
That'll be a spicy one, no matter who comes out of it. And actually, as this game gets started, I do want to issue a correction. It turns out that our mate Raza here is teamless. So if you are a team owner, get on that, please, because this man is doing very, very well for himself.
Yeah. Pick him up because he's putting down some great StarCraft games. Of the NGB block again.
And if Raza comes out on top here, that's actually super sick because he's literally sort of prevailing over the multiple-time champ of the region. And there's a lot of scary people at this stage in the tournament, right? But Probe and Caesar are 2 of the biggest ones. And if you can overcome at least one of those obstacles early on, then you're probably feeling pretty good if you make it into the playoffs.
Indeed. See Pro once again forced to make that Zealot, forced to go to the Cybercore nice and early before getting that Nexus to get rid of the Engineering Bay block. It does have a lot of hit points in that Engineering Bay as well, so it's not like you can just pull probes and get rid of it. So it needs to have that fighting unit. Marine comes down to cover that SCV's return to safety. The Probe disengages here. Wondering what his plan is going to be in game 2. I'm specifically looking at Probe here. Raza went for the 3 racks in game 1. This time it looks like a more of a 1-1-1 focus, although he could go for second barracks.
That's Probe. Excuse me. Yeah, that's Probus. I thought I got the names mixed up, but I didn't. My brain is just playing tricks on me. As Probe cleans up that NG Bay, he will be able to look at expanding here at long last. And Raza, he's on that Widowmine hype train.
Yeah, very quick into reactor Widowmines here, so looking to get a medevac out of that starport, no doubt. Get some Widowmines into the Probe line, at least possible. I love the Widowmine drop as a strat, and so do many, many Terrans, as it's just not only potentially damage, but a scout as well with that medevac with the boost ability. As the medevac starts up now for Raza. Probe's natural on the way as well. Terran still 1 base here. Hasn't started that natural command center yet.
Oh no.
And this is going to show, I mean, the plus side here is that Probe confirms no command center and Caesar Widowmine. So either the CC's in the main, or it's something a little bit more sinister on 1 base. We do see the armory go down here, so the Widowmine's going to have what do you call it, cloaking.
Yeah, that definitely makes a difference. Because one thing I was going to say is that it's crazy that the Widowmine drop has had such longevity. against Protoss. But at the same time, Protosses are getting better and better at defending against it. Quite often, it's only like 1 or 2 probes, which are the bait probes to make the Widowmine fire that get taken out. But here's Raza spicing it up, making this a little bit more difficult to deflect. Now, probe is already positioned in the main, but there's still a bunch of mines to contend with. Those units don't shoot that fast.
They certainly do not. Now, the Widow Mines are going to burrow, and Probe needs to get rid of them here as they do have that red laser on top of their heads, just showing off that the armory is done for the Terran. Observer is out, and the Stalkers outrange the Widow Mine. So this is going to deny a bit of mining time. Oh, Probe actually getting a little bit too close to that Widow Mine there. Loses a Stalker. Definitely didn't need to have that happen, but not losing too many probes, and this was pretty committed from Raza. He keeps the medevac alive. In fact, he has a second medevac on the right-hand side here. So Raza going to try and hit the natural now.
I do love this style from Terran because it can get messy so fast for the Protoss.
Oh yeah, you got to be really on top of it.
Yeah. But so far, so good for Pro. Let's see if the second round is handled just as well. I think it does kind of suck that he had to drop them all in the main because that medevac was getting target fired. And that's going to happen again here. He is going to drop 3 of them here at the natural, and the 4th one looks to be going into the main again. Probe pulls his workers and actually has to evacuate both bases as the second mine burrows there.
It's such a hectic defense from Probe, but he is still, you know, as the dust settles, up almost 10 workers here. So the defense has been pretty good. There's been a lot of denied mining time, but as the workers get back, it'll start to look better for the Protoss, obviously, as they hit the mineral lines. And Raza, natural is done. It's an orbital now, but behind this, you know, 8 Widow Mine drop with the medevacs and the armory going down, it wasn't for free from the Terran here. It did slow him down a little bit to get up to, you know, Stim has just barely begun here. There's a second barracks down, but it's not building any units. He doesn't have that third racks. He's just started it now. No third CC, obviously. So economically, the Terran did have to take a little bit of a hit, shoot himself in the foot a little bit economically to find a lot of damage with those Widow Mines. I would argue that Raza did not really find enough to be worth it just yet. Oh, still got to drop alive here, though.
Yeah, it's one of those risk versus reward things, and unfortunately the reward hasn't shown up. Okay, nice juke.
Nope.
Yeah, losing the medevacs would really make that super not worth it for Raza. So as long as he keeps those in play, then it's not so bad. And this can always sneak in at a later moment when Probe is no longer camping out here waiting for Raza's mines to show up, and it looks like Raza may actually be moving out here with a push that will probably set up towards the third base, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and Probe's on his way to having charge. It is going to finish in time for the push, but it is going to be tight. It's going to be dicey. We got a lot of gateways finishing up for Probe. 4 about to finish, 2 more on the way behind that, and it looks like Probe's actually sending everything back to the natural, as that third Nexus is very likely going to have to be cancelled here. There's just too much Terran, and he does not have the ability to fight at this location.
Not quite yet, nah. He's going to have to wait for that charge, which luckily is about to kick in. Oh no, he's not watching the
distraction.
Really nice by Raza.
He's killed 6 Widow Mines, but 2 of them still alive there, and it does find the money shot. So 8 probes going down in the natural. Raza disengages. He's like, look at this attack, folks. Boo, big scary Terran army, Ooga Booga. And then hits the natural with those Widow Mines.
Oh my god.
And now he can pull back.
Okay. I was getting shook there. I thought he wasn't going to clean him up in time. But yeah, that bodes well for Raza. Gets a bit of economic damage. Doesn't lose anything for that either. I think he actually loses the hurt medevac that was trying to escape there, but you know, he kept everything else intact, and he's headed towards that +1 concussive shells, combat shields, and at that point then he's got much more of a reliable fighting force against the Protoss army that is already on the map, especially because we're starting to get into that charge lot territory, so you need that little extra beef on your bio.
Oh, that bio's gonna have some beef, all right. It's about to get combat shield and +1 around about the same time. Big power spike for the Terran when all that's done. And Probe's army does not have splash damage until that Templar Archives is done. He's on his way to it. He's going to be able to have Archons and charge lots, which, as we kind of mentioned in game 1, is an army that's quite good against bio and could have been great if Probe could have survived to that point, but he's surviving to that point in this game. His upgrades are not looking fantastic, though, and he's actually rushing Storm here. Interesting. All right. Well, I mean, obviously, if Storm's done, then that's going to be great.
Look at this push, Maynard. It's huge.
Yeah. When Storm is done, doable, but until then, Probe needs to slow this down.
All right, slices and dices a little bit off, but does lose some of the cannon fodder at the front of his army for it, and he still just doesn't have enough. Look at the army supply difference. Oh my goodness. That is going to be a mammoth task for Probe to clear this out, especially once he gets sieged up and entrenched between these two bases. Those Immortals are going to be so important in this fight, but I don't know if there's going to be enough.
Ah, this is such a rough position. Probe is absolutely going to lose that third Nexus, potentially the game. And losing the third Nexus is already quite rough. Raza is 2-base all-inning basically right now. He doesn't have a whole lot of worker production at all back at home, no third CC. So everything is in this basket, in the aggression here for Raza. So Probe just needs to hold on. Storm is about to get done. Does he have High Templar? Yes, he does. He's got energy as well. But that is such an entrenched terror position. He needs money storms here on those bio units.
Or when he may get them with those force fields, creating a nice clump of units. But does he have the energy? There's one storm going down, and Raza.
Lovely storm.
Yeah,
very nice storm. He is losing a lot of units to these tanks, though. The natural is still cracked wide open. A couple of the static defenses here for the Protoss going down. He's got another storm in the back pocket. He's got a couple storms here on the in the back pocket for the Protoss. He's just biding his time. Chargers for the north side. Dives and picks off a tank. A suicide mission for those Protoss units, but they do find the mission successful. In comes some more storms. That one just not super effective in the middle of the pack there. Damages the Liberator, but doesn't quite kill it.
But Raza just has so much left, and he's so deep in this territory. It's not enough to clear out this bio because there's Liberators shooting down on you as well. There's a whole minefield behind this on top of the tanks as well. So Probe is kind of doomed no matter what here. I feel he's struggling to get the units out.
So.
He's got no storms left, and Raza is now attacking the Nexus.
Yep, the shield batteries are about to all die here, and without shield batteries, the defenses for the Protoss really lose a lot of their power here. The High Templar just biding time. Now he's got two storms again ready to fire, but the bio is looking healthier here. He's still got that tank line in the back line. He's got the Liberator support as well. In comes the last-ditch effort from Probe, bringing everything to the front yard, but he has lost too much here, and I think that Raza is going to take the 2-0 victory over the reigning champ.
He absolutely is. Probe, GG, well played, and he will bow out of this series, Raza, with a clean 2-0 victory.
Indeed. Wow, Raza really putting the screws